The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA. Top 1580. Download the app.
Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Moving Mountain Mondays, just a few days before Christmas, and we find ourselves in the classroom with Mr. Ernest Krim. Ernest Krim III is an Emmy-nominated producer, public teacher, anti-racist educator, and hate crime victor who uses Black historical narratives to empower and educate through a culturally equitable lens. Mr. Krim, a South Side of Chicago native and University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign graduate, is a former high school history educator of 12 years, who now also advocates for social justice issues and teaches Black history to the world through social media with a platform that reaches roughly 4 million people each month as of 2024. Ernest, welcome forward to the Ernest Krim classroom on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Hey, what's up, brother? Happy Monday. It's good to be here with you.
Happy Monday and happy early Christmas holidays to you as well.
We
are welcoming on our program today Takara and Aaron Robinson. Takara founded Still I Rise, a not-for-profit organization, in October 2014 and serves as the executive director. She's extremely passionate about giving back to her community, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about during the Christmas season, as she also serves on the Neighborhood Master Plan Committee. She frequently volunteers her time to several nonprofit organizations and community initiatives. Annually, Takara volunteers for NBA Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas's annual toy drive. Takara often consults individuals who desire to become established not-for-profit organization leaders, which led her to write and release her now book, How to Start a Nonprofit Organization, in the spring of 2019. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice and a Master's in Public Administration. And Amazon best-selling author, her husband, Aaron Robinson, was born in Chicago, Illinois, and grew up in Pembroke, Illinois during the duration of his life. Robinson attended Columbia College in Chicago, earning a bachelor's degree in fine arts and science and an associate degree in visual and fine arts. Robinson is a professional graphic designer where he designs local and national projects. He's also the founder of Consciousness Magazine and the Still I Rise organization. He's an Amazon best-selling author of Not Going Unnoticed. Aaron and Takara, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you.
We
appreciate
Thank
you
you
for
for
having
having
us.
So grateful that you're joining us, particularly in this not-for-profit space where the season is of giving, but the reality is in this season where the government's going to be doing less for people, both federal and state, because of the penny pinching approach to government service and the tax cuts to people who don't need them. The world of not-for-profit and giving of yourselves is going to be a little bit more difficult going forward. Aaron and Takara, share with us why you entered this space.
Well, we're natural givers from the heart. So with or without a nonprofit organization, we will still be giving to the community and individuals in need. That's just our passion.
Yes, and within our community, within the Kankakee County, there was a void for youth programs, and it was just the financial status of different families was very low. So I say underprivileged. Mm-hmm. And that's what we said, we need to do something, come in and step in, mm-hmm. and be that vessel to a lot of people that's in the community.
Yeah, so we created a multitude of programs, arts and culture, financial literacy, which is much needed, youth entrepreneur, and so forth for the youth.
I'm particularly impressed with your organization and the work that you've been doing on the ground in no small measure, because it's absolutely needed. I'm wondering, just before I go to Mr. Krim, and that might happen just before we come forward, which is the language we use just before our break. I'm wondering, Aaron and Takara, how much of a faith proposition is this for you?
Wow. Like Takara said, it's a natural thing. It's really not tied into like a religious component, but more of our hearts of giving, because that's how we grew up with our parents, teaching us the right thing and being loving to people, and just want people to treat us like, we want to be treated like others. How can I say it? Like,
So the less fortunate, we want to treat them, and we do, just as they should be treated, versus some organizations,
Ernest, we have about a minute before we come forward.
Yeah, something as a historian. First off, it's a pleasure and honor to be here with you all. Thank you for the tireless work that you all do. I know that you all have impacted so many communities. And when I look at your bio and the counties that you all cover, I know that you all are probably overworked and glad that you have a break coming up for the holiday.
Yes.
When we come forward, I would love to talk to you all about the influence with your name and why you chose Still I Rise. The Black historian in me thinks about Maya Angelou, but I would, of course, like to speak more about what led to that decision.
Our very special guest in this hour is we're in Mr. Krim's classroom with Takara and Aaron Robinson. They are giving of themselves, and it doesn't always come from a faith perspective. I'm particularly impressed with their answer to that question, and we're going to dig much deeper when we return to Mr. Krim's classroom, and Mr. Krim begins to lead the class. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the KBLA Talk 1580, the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on Moving Mountain Mondays. We're in Mr. Krim's classroom. More when we come forward on KBLA.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the Southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Celebrate good times, come on!
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome here to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Moving Mountain Mondays in Mr. Krim's classroom. Our very special guests today are Aaron and Takara Robinson. Takara and Aaron are not-for-profit organization leaders in underserved communities. Just before the break, Mr. Krim had some questions.
Yeah, thanks again for taking the time to be here with us today. My main question to kind of start off everything is really just was your inspiration for going with the title of your organization because of Maya Angelou? Were you all fond of her work? What led to that, and what impact, if any, did any historical figure have on the work that you all do?
Good question. It's a short story to that because we advocate walkers. We walk in our community like every day. So in the afternoon, we never really thought of a name. We were just moving forward. We're doing all the paperwork. So we actually called my sibling. She's been very supportive with our organization, and
she's actually a board member.
Yes. So we call her and we said we need a name because a lot of things come to her spiritual, and we spiritual people. We believers, and it came to her and she said, "Hey, here's the name. Still I Rise."
As soon as she heard my voice, she said the first thing that came to my mind was "Still I Rise," and how that happened.
Yeah, that's powerful. I love that. And speaking to some of the issues that you all maybe experience or face, because I know coming into the space, you all were doing other things professionally, right? So when you speak of the social problems that you all dealt with in Kankakee County, for instance, was there a particular moment where you said, I got to create this organization, or was it just like a culmination of things you saw and experienced over time?
It was kind of a culmination because, like he said, it was a void. The youth, they had nothing positive to really participate in. So we want to come in and, combat that void.
Yes.
Aaron, can you share with us a little bit about growing up in Pembroke, Illinois?
Oh, yes. My parents, bless their soul, when they moved from Arkansas, because when they was younger, they were sharecroppers. So they moved to Chicago, and they found the land. I heard when I was younger that they moved out there because it resembled like some of the Arkansas backwoods and the land and so forth. So growing up was very challenging for us, living in poverty. My father had a 5th grade education. My mother is the only one that finished high school. Out of 11 children, her and one of my siblings. So we grew up with sometimes we're not being able to pay electric, not having the type of resources that was needed even through like the educational system in school. So I kind of fought that in a way because I felt like the education wasn't for me. So that's when, I fell 1 year behind in school because I wasn't liking school during that time. No one ever came to me. I had a father in the home, but I was never like embraced by my father in such a way. So when I got in 7th grade, our art teacher discovered my creativity, and no one ever came to me like that. And I felt embarrassed, like, hey, I don't deserve this, because I didn't know what that was, to show my artwork in front of a class, So that's when I felt like I can be somebody just because somebody sowed that seed into me. But growing up, we had our fun days, we had our rough days living in poverty, but we came through, and I'm a product of that environment.
Well, I think that you are among the best that Pembroke has ever produced. Someone who wants to give back to their community and is concerned for the least fortunate. My dad said we may be born in the slum, but the slum itself does not have to be born in us. And I don't see Pembroke, quite frankly, as a slum. It's just a community that's disconnected from the global economy. And that is something that I plan to do, to connect it to the rest of the world. Let me ask both of you this question. In the not-for-profit space, there are some great challenges, both in terms of funding as well as some difficulties that you're experiencing. And Takara, your book, How to engage the not-for-profit space obviously serves as a pathway for people to consider the not-for-profit space. Can you share with us some of the funding challenges that you're experiencing in the present environment?
Yeah, so presently the funding, as you stated earlier, it has definitely decreased. So we're trying to find other avenues to get funding outside of like the regular paths that we were taking in the past. Grants are more limited. It's a lot of challenges.
Aaron?
Yeah, because it's so much that sponsors can do sometimes, but we've been graced. I'm blessed, and just to have sponsors around the country, so they looking into what we've been doing, and they reaching out and funding us in such a way, and that's been really great because within your hometown or your area that you at, it could become limited, and you kind of get exhausted going to the same people all the time. You know how that is as far as sponsorship, just to keep everything going. So, you know, it's just that one step at a time as it continue to grow and grow financially.
There will come a point in time in the program where I'm specifically going to ask, how can we support your organization? And I'm certainly hoping you can point us to the various means by which we can do that. Mr. Krim.
Yeah, I'm curious to know too, with that being said, what programs have you all created or been involved in that you are most proud of? I think you're going on 12 years in this right now. So what are some of the memories that come to mind on the work you've done so far?
I mean, we're actually proud of all of the programs. However, when 2020, yes, we began serving the homeless and those in need. So that was new. And that's been very dear to our heart.
Yeah,
we've been able to help thousands and thousands, feed and clothing on a monthly basis.
Yeah, and we was able to give like food boxes, frozen food, non-perishable to families of 600 at a time, 700. So that was really like that was something that was really dear to our heart, to know that all these people are in need and we there to be able to help them. Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking in this moment that that the organization, having been in existence for 12 years, you've obviously seen economies that are doing better than the one we are presently experiencing. Can you tell the difference in the giving when the economy is doing well? Are givers or supporters more responsive in those environments than they are when the belt, if you will, of some of these companies begins to tighten?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Right now, we've seen a decrease within our sponsorship as opposed to when we started to 7 or 8 years in. So the last few years after the pandemic, it started to fluctuate, and we looked at that closely to see how we can just build up on what we already have, so we could continue to have a face in the communities. And that was just one thing. And we seek grants. You know, that's a hit and miss sometimes, depending on what the grant writer is going for and so forth. So you have your ups, you have your downs, but we continue to just chip away and continue to build off what we already started. So that's where we at right now.
That's persistence and resilience.
Yes.
Mr. Krim.
Yeah, I'm also wondering too, considering that you all have seen some of the ebbs and flows that it takes to be involved in something like this, what would you say, or what words of advice would you have for nonprofit directors who have experienced something like this, maybe for the first time across the country? Let's say somebody, if you started a few years ago and you see the economy and where it's going now, it could probably be something that deters you from moving forward. So kind of speaking from even, you know, some of the things that you give advice about in your book, Takar, what would you say to kind of give them the motivation to keep going?
I would just say follow your heart, keep going, don't give up, do not stop, no matter how dark the situation seems. There is light at the end. So just keep going, keep moving.
Yeah, and I add on to that and say be creative, find new strategies, ideas, and implement them, and grow with those ideas so they can flourish. And that'll be a way to sort of sustain as you're moving forth within your nonprofit.
Is there anything in particular that you all have noticed over the past year in terms of the population that you're serving? Any drastic shift? And what you say in terms of the programs that need to be created in this climate, especially around the holidays?
What sticks out to me is the homeless population has really, really increased in the area. And for shelters, there's not really much. So that's what sticks out to me.
Yeah, and the education, as far as the youth getting the proper tools that they need. So we have partnered with banks. One that's more known as Chase Bank, where we do financial literacy, so we can help these younger people, even some of the older, how to spend their money, how to save, and just what to do the right thing with it. And just create some type of generational wealth. So we giving them that type of knowledge.
You know, one of the things that I'm deeply concerned about, and obviously, Ernest, the signal came from Washington when Donald Trump began rounding up homeless people and moving them out of Washington, D.C., out of the parks and out of national monuments or places where they might stay warm. And I'm hearing Aaron and Takara saying that in Kankakee, Illinois, there's a homeless problem. I've heard it in other communities throughout the area. It seems like the large municipalities push the homeless in the direction of smaller municipalities and in the direction of organizations that, quite frankly, are overwhelmed with the sheer number of people who are entering their space. Ernest?
Yeah, I think about that too, especially in regards to, I remember, I recall my first time being in LA and becoming aware of the large homeless population in some of the districts in the area. And I've seen a lot of statistics around, especially around Skid Row, and speaking in terms of how that's been growing even more. And when I think about, excuse me, the work that nonprofits do, I think it's very imperative for everybody that's listening now too, to understand that this is a case and form of mutual aid where we all have to come together and support our nonprofit organizations. I think we take for granted the support that has come from institutions over the course of the last 40, 50 years. But if we look back in history, speaking from the stuff I've read, a lot of times the era that we come from, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, these folks were getting money directly from the community to fund these movements. And I think we're at a point in time now where we have to begin to realize that. And for everybody out there listening, when you see organizations like Still I Rise that are doing work that's important and relative to the entire country, and other organizations that are right next to you in your neighborhood, we got to pick up a few. We got to pick up a few and make sure that we are giving monthly. Have you seen any success with the homeless populations that you are working with? And what have you seen that has not particularly worked well?
Well, some success stories would be some individuals that were homeless that we would serve. Like a couple of years later, we see them coming back and they're on their feet now. They no longer need our services, and then they're actually donating. So that's
powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. I know when we come forward, and I know we're not coming forward quite yet, but I want us to pivot to your youth entrepreneur program, your food, nutrition, and disparity program, the Just Write a Resume program, the arts and culture program, the health and wellness program, so that we can, at least before you leave our program, make the case for why you are an organization that we should all be supporting to keep you functioning and to keep young people and everyone that comes into contact with you moving forward. I'm sorry, Ernest, we have about 2 minutes before we come forward.
No, what I think is even powerful about what you mentioned, Jesse, is the fact that you all are doing work that's preventative as well as responsive to the needs of the community. And I'm sure you all can attest to the fact that, a lot of the issues that our communities face when they either become homeless or houselessness are things that could have been prevented if there was some intervention a lot earlier. So I'm looking forward to learning a lot more about that. And I'm also curious to know too, if you all have had the opportunity to work with other organizations across the country, just to form, partnerships to see how you all can strengthen the types of work that you do. I know we got about a minute or so less, but has that been the case? Have you all been able to connect with folks across the country working similarly?
Yes, that was the thing that we should have spoke on too when you mentioned Mr. Jackson about how can other organizations basically stay afloat. So that's one thing that we've been doing all this year is we've been partnering. For example, we partner with
Harbor House.
Yes. Salvation Army. That's really been great. And it's been.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're in Mr. Grimm's classroom. We're with Ernest and Takara Robinson. They are nonprofit leaders in the state of Illinois, and they're sharing with us the secrets to their success. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The biggest names, the best conversations. You're riding with Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago now has a 2026 budget, but Black Mayor Brandon Johnson could still veto it.
Again, I don't believe this is, a principled approach towards how we balance our budget.
The city council passed it without his proposed corporate head tax and with a debt collection plan he opposes. Alderman Brendan Riley says the council likely has enough votes to override a veto. If unresolved by December 30th, a shutdown could follow. Reverend Jesse Jackson is home for the holidays after being released from an acute care facility. He had been receiving treatment for a neurological disorder and Parkinson's disease following a hospital stay. And rapper Snoop Dogg is stepping into the NBA analyst role next month. He'll join NBC's Peacock broadcast on January 5th for the Warriors versus Clippers game, calling the second half alongside Terry Gannon and Reggie Miller. Snoop calls it a dream come true. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers move closer to qualifying for the AFC playoffs with their 34-17 win at Dallas Sunday. If Indianapolis loses at home tonight to Houston, the Chargers are in. If Indianapolis wins tonight, the Chargers can lock up a playoff spot next Sunday with a win over Houston at SoFi Stadium. Impressive day for Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, 23 of 29 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Herbert ran 1 yard for another TD. The Chargers have won 4 straight. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua was hit with a $25,000 fine by the NFL for making critical comments about the referees. Nacua made the comments during a live stream podcast last week. New UCLA football coach Bob Chesney is officially on the clock. Chesney's 2-year run at James Madison ended Saturday with their loss at Oregon in the first round of the college football playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Are you coughing a lot, especially at night? Are you often short of breath? Are you using your rescue inhaler often? These could be signs that your asthma is not under control. To keep your asthma in check and help prevent an asthma attack, ask your healthcare provider for an asthma action plan. This is a personalized plan you create with your doctor that shows you what to do and what medicines to help control your asthma and to use when you're having a hard time breathing or when you're having an asthma attack. Please don't wait until you're having an asthma attack. Do something about it now. Schedule a visit with your healthcare provider today to make that action plan and take control of your asthma. For more tips and resources on the management of asthma, visit luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-9651. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me.
Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are in Mr. Krim's classroom, the last of our shows today and tomorrow for the Christmas season on KBLA Talk 1580. Mr. Krim, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and to your classroom.
Hey, what's up, brother? It's good to be back with you.
Man, I am so glad that we are together once again, and I want to wish you and your family a happy holidays. Also to Takara and Aaron, who are joining us as not-for-profit specialists. Before I get to how we can support their program, I want to share with them some of the innovative programs that they do have and that they offer at Still I Rise. The Youth Entrepreneur Program, Food Nutrition and Disparity Program, the Just Write a Resume Program, Arts and Culture Program, Health and Wellness Program. Takara, Aaron, share with us a little bit about the programs that you put forward in your not-for-profit.
Okay, so I'll start with the Health and Wellness Program. So we educate both youth and adults regarding health education on a yearly basis. We just had our 12th annual Health and Wellness Seminar. We do that annually, as I just said. And so we have physicians, yourself was one of the speakers at this particular event. And so we just educate on health and wellness. And then throughout the year, we have workshops for the youth to educate them.
Yes, and I basically coordinate the arts and culture. That's my background. The youth come in, showing them how to draw, just a whole lot of different things to build up on their skill set if they already started to be an artist. So that's when I come in at. And you mentioned the health and wellness, arts and culture.
Yeah. The Just Write resume.
Yeah, well, we help individuals put their resumes together so they may be looking for job opportunity, and they reach out to us, and we just sat down with them and show them the a precise and decent way I have the
system.
Yes,
attire, what to wear, mock interviews, things of that nature.
Oh, fantastic! How can we support your organization?
You can visit www.still-irise.org, and you can donate there. Or if you want to volunteer, you can reach out also. We always in the community every 2 weeks with the Salvation Army, or we outside with our outreach, just giving clothing, feeding, and so forth to individuals that's in need.
Is there a donate button on your website?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can you give me the website again, please?
Yes, www.still-irise.org.
Still-irise.org. www.still-irise.org is the name of this very important organization. Just before we came forward, Ernest, you were asking them about the connection to other organizations around the country that find themselves similarly situated at this hour.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm very curious to know how you've been able. You kind of alluded to this prior to the break, but how you've been able to connect with organizations across the country and just kind of really some of the similar issues and problems that you found that exist across the country right now.
As you mentioned, Mr. Jackson, that would be the food disparity. We found out there's a lot of family and individuals that's not getting nutritious meals and don't have food. Even a lot of children that we work with on the weekend, it's very difficult for a lot of them. They don't know if they're going to eat on a Sunday. They may have something for a Saturday, but once that weekend hit after they school, it's challenging. So that's one thing that we bring forth, even partnershiping with Blue Cross Blue Shield when they reached out during the pandemic.
And we also partner with Top Box Foods, which they will allowed us to feed thousands of families.
You know, about 2 weeks ago, I wrote an article about the difficulty of caring for my father. And by the way, for all of you who've been praying for Dad, he came home this past Saturday. He will be home for the holidays. He is in a much better condition than we found him in just a month and a half or 2 months ago. And so thank you for all of your prayers, especially during this holiday season. And while I put focus on home caregivers, today we're putting focus on community caregivers that Aaron and Takara actually represent, not-for-profit work for people who come into contact with real families in real need. Aaron and Takara, we are so grateful that you guys are still on our program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Mr. Krim.
You know, I think what I really gather from you all too is just for one, the humility. And I think the understanding that when there's an issue that arises in our community, or in your case, issues that you all are grappling with, it's incumbent upon us all, you know, to figure out what we can do to help. I think this is the literal definition to me of picking ourselves up by our bootstraps, not like exercising this individualism, but saying we are liable for everybody that comes across us that has an issue. And you all are using your natural gifts too, you know, to serve. I'm thinking about your backgrounds a little bit now too. So Takara, you as a journalist, and Aaron, you as a visual artist, how do those skills come into play with the work you do? And you know, as someone who is concerned about people, just like me, I got to ask you this: what are you all doing to maintain some sense of self-care during these times?
Good question. So as a journalist, so been writing for his magazine, Conscious Magazine, for umpteen years now. But that helps me as far as me being a book author and everything. So it kind of works hand in hand. And then I'm also able to share my skill set with the youth.
Yes, and we just kind of help each other and bring those skills. Being a publisher, a magazine for 20 years, inducted actually to the local Kankakee County Museum this year for 20 years. And when we come together with Still I Rise, that's our baby, that's our passion. We don't ask too many people for anything. We know that that's what we have to do. You know, if it was just about us, we just venture out on our own things and just be and just live life like that. But we can't. We're here for a purpose, and that's what the Most High planted into us, these gifts and talents, and come together, and we balance everything that we do with each other. You know, Takara being the leader of the executive director, I come in with my marketing skills and creativity. And we mesh everything together, and it's always
like a perfect balance.
Yes.
You know, I can't get this quote out of my mind from Martin Luther King Jr. when he said that we must do more than flick a coin to a beggar. We must recognize that a system that produces beggars needs restructuring. it's easy to flick a coin at what we might perceive as a problem because we have a coin to flip. But when I hear a youth entrepreneur program, a food, nutrition, and disparity program, a Just Write a Resume program, an arts and culture program, and a health and wellness program, your not-for-profit comes into contact with the whole person, not just a problem, but every problem that might exist when you come into contact with someone who needs the kind of development that your organization offers.
Yes.
Yeah. I think too, what I realize is you all are providing a lot. As a former classroom teacher, you all are doing a lot of what schools aren't doing. And I'm sure that was intentional. I'm wondering too how receptive schools have been to the work that you all are doing. And I'm sure we'll have to touch on that, as Jesse says, when we come forward.
I'm so impressed with Ernest. He's getting these times down. That's the hardest part of the job. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. We are in Mr. Krim's classroom. This is our holiday season edition before the Christmas season officially launches on December 25th. Merry Christmas to everyone, and certainly Takara and Aaron will be coming forward with more from Takara and Aaron on Mr. Krim Show on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Unwrap LA this winter with Metro. Whether you're heading to a family gathering or last-minute shopping, Metro's got you. Enjoy free rides across Metro on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Move with joy. Move with community this holiday season. Go Metro.
Did you know that streaming music, ebooks, audiobooks, movies, and more is available for free from the Los Angeles Public Library? With your library card, you can access the latest music and movies, audiobooks and ebooks, graphic novels, comic books, magazines, and more. If you don't have a library card and live in the city of Los Angeles, you can get a digital card online for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
It all comes down to this, folks. Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain. Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast. Speaking of fast, did you just see that play? Yeah, he vaporized that ball. That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for reentry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me.
Jesse Jackson Jr., welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest on our classroom with Mr. Ernest Krim is Takara and Aaron Robinson. They are not-for-profit specialists, community caregivers, who are working against great odds to raise the resources necessary in order to continue a myriad of programs that matter to the space that they operate in, and indeed around our country, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in New York. Our hearts are with community caregivers who operate non-for-profit organizations. Takara and Aaron, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you for having us.
Share with me one more time how we can all give and be supportive of your efforts.
You can support Still I Rise by going to www.still-irise.org.
One more time, Takara.
www.still-irise.org.
Mr. Krim, why don't you ask a final question of our guest? And I think they've inspired me so that I'd like to close out the segment on the Word of Hope today myself. Mr. Krim.
Yeah, definitely. And before I even move forward, I want to congratulate you all on the various awards that you've received for your extraordinary work over the years. I'm looking at you all winning an award for 2023 John M. Fulton Distinguished Alumnus Award for the Kankakee Community College Foundation, the Nonprofit of the Year Award at the Kankakee County Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner, and you won an award from the NAACP's President's Award. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And my closing question again is just really, how has it been partnering with schools in this climate, and what motivated you all to create those programs that counter what, in my opinion, what the school district is not offering in this moment?
Many school districts, they've been very open to what we're doing. Some have the same on the same mission that we on, and some that don't. You know, it could be a little challenging. Putting together, but at the end of the day, we are open. Yeah, working with any organization, schools, and so forth. We also come into the schools and bring some of our programs into them to give the students life skills and so forth. So those are some of the things that we've been doing with the schools.
I'm so very proud of your work. And I think our entire country is indebted to you for the work and for the lives that you lead and for what you continue to give back to our community. Aaron and Takara, thank you for being on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look forward to having you guys back in the not too distant future. Ernest?
It was a pleasure meeting you all. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Well, thank you.
Thank
too,
you.
Ernest. Appreciate
Likewise.
you. Mhm.
Ernest, a final thought, and then I'm going to take the last 3 minutes for a word of hope.
All right. I think just for me, going back to what I said in a previous segment, I'm inspired because what this means for us all is we have to continue to dedicate ourselves to service in our community. I think what we receive in this hour and what we learned about the work that Takara and Aaron have committed to is when you see a problem, you commit to providing a solution and you use the skills that you already have and you bring those forth to the table. You don't limit yourself to being in one region. You realize that the issues that you are solving and the problems that exist in your community are universal from the Chicago area to Los Angeles. You partner with as many organizations as possible to see your vision. And regardless of what the year might bring you in terms of the funding, you find ways around it. So for me, it goes back to what our ancestors have always shown us, that whenever there's a problem, people will step forward with a solution. And that's what the Robinsons have shown us this past hour. So thanks again for the work you all are doing.
Thank you. So grateful that they're here. Allow me this moment to opine. When I think about the Christmas season, a season that we've enjoyed for 2025 years, I think about the birth of the stranger. When Jesus of Nazareth presents himself on the first day of his life in a manger in Bethlehem, he presents himself to the world as a stranger. And then the story continues. 3 wise strangers follow the North Star and bearing gifts to this very strange occurrence in human history, a child born not of man and or woman, but fundamentally of spirit. Everything about his life and his ministry was strange. When he presented himself in the temple as a young learned boy to the elders, he was a stranger in the midst of clergymen. From the beginning of his life to finding 12 men to follow him, 12 strangers, he had to escape as a young child under the leadership of his parents as an undocumented immigrant to a land not of his birth, Egypt land. He was a stranger from the moment of his crucifixion on the cross, where he came and found himself positioned between a murderer and a thief. He engaged the stranger. And even in his conversations with the lawyer who asked him the question, "And who is my neighbor?" he positions the story of good neighborliness on the Jericho road, not from the perspective of the priest, the Levite, and I'm going to go one step further, not even from the perspective completely of the Samaritan. It is Jesus responding to a lawyer, but the only other person in that scene who understands exactly what happened is the broken, beaten, robbed, homeless man on the side of the road. The Bible does not give him a name. It just calls him the stranger on the Jericho road. I'm inspired today by Aaron and Takara when I think about the strangers that they come into contact with on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, not just during the Christmas season, but the person who comes in need with basic resume skills, a need to present themselves in a way that they might be able to fish and provide for their own families, a person who comes to them on an empty stomach, needing some basic nutrition from which to eat. The strangers, the people whose names they do not know, who present themselves every single day in some different form. And the more I reflect upon the stranger on the Jericho road, I can't get out of my mind the perspective. When asked the question by a lawyer, "Who is my neighbor?" Jesus takes a very difficult question and he turns it into the Samaritan story, and he talks about the priest, the Levite, and the stranger. But at no point in time is there any evidence that the Samaritan knew the priest or even saw the priest or even saw the Levite. Everyone has a different perspective. The only person in the story who has the global perspective is the stranger themselves. They watched the priest walk by. They watched the Levite walk by. They watched the Samaritan stop. The Samaritan has the same perspective, we believe, of Jesus of Nazareth. The reality is the stranger on the Jericho road is the one who watched all of us. The stranger had a divine perspective on how to treat people. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. We're grateful to Aaron and Takara today for their willingness to embrace the strangers in our life. Let us give some thought during this holiday season to the strangers that are in our midst. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Listen to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward with Terry Howard Owens on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Chicago now has a 2026 budget, but Black Mayor Brandon Johnson could still veto it.
Again, I don't believe this is, a principled approach towards how we balance our budget.
The city council passed it without his proposed corporate head tax and with a debt collection plan he opposes. Alderman Brendan Riley says the council likely has enough votes to override a veto. If unresolved by December 30th, a shutdown could follow. Reverend Jesse Jackson is home for the holidays after being released from an acute care facility. He had been receiving treatment for a neurological disorder and Parkinson's disease following a hospital stay. And rapper Snoop Dogg is stepping into the NBA analyst role next month. He'll join NBC's Peacock broadcast on January 5th for the Warriors versus Clippers game, calling the second half alongside Terry Gannon and Reggie Miller. Snoop calls it a dream come true. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers move closer to qualifying for the AFC playoffs with their 34-17 win at Dallas Sunday. If Indianapolis loses at home tonight to Houston, the Chargers are in. If Indianapolis wins tonight, the Chargers can lock up a playoff spot next Sunday with a win over Houston at SoFi Stadium. Impressive day for Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, 23 of 29 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Herbert ran 1 yard for another TD. The Chargers have won 4 straight. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua was hit with a $25,000 fine by the NFL for making critical comments about the referees. Nacua made the comments during a live stream podcast last week. New UCLA football coach Bob Chesney is officially on the clock. Chesney's 2-year run at James Madison ended Saturday with their loss at Oregon in the first round of the college football playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
With Reverend Teresa Terry Howard Owens, the General Minister and President of the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada, an author and advocate for the church living out its calling. She is the first person of color and second woman to lead the denomination. Since her election in 2017, Reverend Howard Owens' ministry actively reflects the disciples' priority of being an anti-racist church, being a movement for wholeness, welcoming all to the Lord's table as God has welcomed us. In keeping with the disciples' historic commitment to Christian unity, she serves in leadership at the National Councils of Churches as the treasurer of the governing board and a member of the World Council of Churches Central Committee. Reverend Terry Hordowens, welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and to your show on, well, Christmas Eve of the eve of the eve of the season.
Of the eve. So good to be with you, Jesse, as always. And it's in this holiday season, it's in the midst of everything, right? There's so much that we can be concerned and even burdened by, and yet we try to keep that focus, as you always do, on where's the hope in this? What way and what words can we find to show hope?
Terry, I was made hopeful by listening to Aaron and Takara in the previous hour, because they're giving not just of their resources, but they're giving of themselves. And it is that gift that provides them with a level of profound happiness and depth. Are you experiencing that in a different way during this particular season as a minister, as someone who comes into contact with the faithful?
I do. I see all around us, whether it be in worship services, people, and I'll speak from the Black church tradition in particular. The Black church, we've always found a way out of no way, and the church has always been that crucial foundation to give us that faith, not to fall. So in worship in this season, I've heard ministers preaching words of resilience and sustenance and words of resistance, and reminding people that the reason that we celebrate is because there was a little baby born in a manger. Christians believe literally God incarnate, God's clearest revelation to us of who God is in the person of Jesus Christ. And so I see those words of hope being shared. You look on social media, churches are still doing Advent celebrations, that sense of anticipating of the birth of Christ and lighting the candles. And each week the first week you celebrate hope, and then it's peace, and then it's love and joy. And then on Christmas, many churches will light the Christmas candle or the Christ candle. So human ritual has a way, I think, of helping to bolster us in difficult spaces and times, and helping us to, they're gathering moments, places in which people can come together and just remember, this is what we believe, this is why we do these things. And even to acknowledge the fact that in this crazy, truly, I can't remember another time in my life, at least in my adult life as a child of the 60s. I was 8 years old when Dr. King was assassinated. So I remember the protests and the marches, because my dad and grandparents were involved in a lot of that. But in these dark and evil days, that's not a hyperbole. This is literally what we're living in. And everybody out there, right, has to, and people will say, it doesn't matter who's in the White House, God is still sovereign. God is still on the throne. And I believe that. But it's not enough for us to just claim and affirm this faith. I think what it does is it equips us for the work that we still have to do. So we have to remind ourselves that Christmas, there's a reason behind this